All right, let's go back now to our earlier story and get in conversation with Tebogo Lerole, chairman of the Act Now Foundation, just around the case against a 27-year-old Lazarus Antonio, accused of fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend, Kgaugelo Marota. Tebogo, a very good afternoon. Again, meeting under these devastating circumstances. Just your impressions about this latest case. I mean, earlier on, our reporter, Patricia Fasahi, speaking to some organizations saying that enough is enough.
To be quite honest, it's not shocking anymore, and I think it is time as a nation, it is time as the government of South Africa, we put to the core or to the front door as priority cases of GBVF, because I mean, we cannot be marching, we cannot be walking, we cannot be creating programs if there isn't sufficient education about gender-based violence and femicide. We are the highest when it comes to the world in terms of the killing of women, the killing of children. And you can see, I mean, from the video that was posted by Antonio, that he is not remorseful. According to him, it must have been a case of a man who was obviously, providing for this lady. And he's decided that if she can't be with him, she cannot be with anyone else. So I'm really stressing out to our government, to corporate South Africa. We are in dire need as South Africans. I can tell you right now that organizations that are in the forefront advocating against gender-based violence and femicide receive no form of aid or support from our government. So this is a request to the presidency and all the ministers in the country that we really need strong support behind this pandemic that we are faced with.
And when we look at just some of the concerns that, many South African citizens are concerned about around this particular case, we know, of course, that the deceased had actually taken out a restraining order against the perpetrator. And there's also concern that, he might actually be granted bail. I mean, how important then is it that we actually look at how the SAPS issues these restraining orders and how well they are enforced?
We have a march this coming weekend, which is the Walk Against Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. And one of the patrons who's joining us is the Deputy Minister of Police, Dr. Poli Sheila Bushielo. We are going to really speak to her because we were informed as civil society organizations that if a man is found guilty for femicide or a man is found guilty in cases of gender-based violence, there is no bail that is going to be granted to the perpetrator. So we're expecting the same thing. We don't want to be hearing that there's going to be bail application on the 5th of September or the next date that has been given. I mean, there is sufficient evidence that says this man is the murderer. He's the one that killed this young lady, and he's the one that also inflicted. I mean, this is GBH if we're talking in terms of GBV. I mean, it was, the intent was to cause harm to the other victim. So he's got two victims. One is no more. The other victim is in hospital. There is sufficient evidence. I'm not understanding why we should be going to court. I'm not understanding why we should be investigating. And I mean, these are policies that we've been trying to push for, and the change into laws and the victims' rights. Right now, the family is obviously expecting that they're going to, receive justice for their daughter. And we're out here still discussing that there's going to be the next bail hearing. We should be going straight to conviction, and this man must be arrested, case closed.
And I mean, this crime happened in Hammanskraal. As SA Today, we were there on Friday, just covering crime as it relates to the deaf community. And interestingly, the latest police stats show that some crimes have dropped in Hammanskraal specifically. But one wonders then, how much effort is put on some of these specific crimes, and just to look at the trends in terms of what causes a drop in certain areas of Hammanskraal and not in other areas. Just speaking about policies, what shift should we be seeing from particularly government, as you say, at the moment, to really start investing in crime, particularly in these areas like Hammanskraal, which of course is not the only area in the country that we know of its form where this is happening?
To be honest, we should be starting at grassroots level. We should be starting in our communities. You know, there are no excuses that we should be making at the moment. You know, we are supposed to be saying we've got an emergency situation as a nation, and how do we fix where we are at the moment? Because you go into spaces of young people within schools, you know, there's a lot of behavior change that needs to be driven as a program in terms of educating our young learners that are growing up. You go into communities, we have quite a lot of broken homes or broken families where there is no father figure. And I strongly believe that most of these young boys that go out there, just like Antonio, and start stabbing a woman because she's obviously not in love with you anymore and she doesn't want you to be in that space. We are lacking an element of an older person grooming this young person, and hence why we've got campaigns like the Betterment for Tomorrow that is strongly focusing at men's issues, boys' issues. You know, we've set up boys' parliaments, we've set up the men's parliament, but again, we do not see government coming to support those programs. I mean, as civil society, we can only go for so long. And I think for the longest of time, we've been shielding government as organizations that are fighting the scourge on gender-based violence and femicide, and government has not come forth. It is time for them to come forth because the nation is bleeding. We are bleeding on a daily basis. This is the one case that is getting attention from the media. There are 100 other cases that are out there with no media attention, with no support. Just this past week, there's been a lot of cases that have been reported. You know, we are also part of a bigger group, which is, you know, the Gauteng gender-based violence advocates. The only government that comes to support is the Gauteng Department of Community Safety. Those are the guys that have taken this pandemic as a serious matter to deal with. Now we are asking all the departments in the country to get involved. We are asking corporate South Africa, when we knock at your doors, we are knocking because somehow, someway, an employee who gets violated or raped or murdered somehow impacts your profit or your GDP as a company. So this is a fight for South Africans. It's not only for civil society, and it's not only for you guys to only report. It's supposed to be, you know, second nature. We're supposed to be having this conversation on a broader level, and gone are the days of us having dialogues and us having to discuss in rooms and trying to find solutions. We know where the solutions are. We just need to go into the communities and set up as many programs as possible. There are civil society organizations in each and every corridor you can go into, and they will give you solutions to solving the issue of gender-based violence and femicide.
Tebogo, wise words. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. And I tend to agree with you. Tebogo Lerole, the chairman of the Act Now Foundation, saying accountability needs to happen now.